So a bunch of people have asked me to start a canvas from scratch and kind of go through the decoupage work. It's hard to see what I've done right now. There's a pencil mark here, but what's happening when I'm putting on the glue and the paper, it's erasing these pencil marks that I have. So I'm using this paint pen. You can use anything, but I just kind of want to do an outline of a form. This is going to be a figure, obviously. So I just want to go down through here and mark it with the paint pen because this pencil line is getting erased and it's hard for me to see. These paint pens I like to use once in a while. They are oil-based, and what they're great for is this kind of thing. You can kind of make marks here. And the reason I'm doing that is just to have a basis. Now, what I'm doing now, it doesn't really matter in terms of, I hate this pen color. I gotta find another one. Here, I'll use a pastel. Okay, the end is gonna be oil paint, so it doesn't matter what product I use, but I just wanna outline here my marks that I made to do the form. So basically what I wanted to do, you can kind of see her. I'm just doing this as a reference point. At this point in the game, it doesn't really matter what. I'm just making reference lines for myself. I have kind of, if you really want to know the truth, I really don't have a plan other than the fact that I have a figure. And so what I'm going to do, so I have these different colored papers, and basically I just did my outline, so now I can at least see what I'm doing here. I usually like to do it in pencil so it doesn't show, but the problem with that is that it starts to get erased. So this is going to be what I've decided, how I'm going to start this one. The figure itself is going to be all paper. This is, I'll use this. This is Mod Podge that I like to use. I get this in these large containers. It's a little bit sloppy, but I like to get those in the bigger containers because I do use quite a bit of it. I'm not sure if that's gonna be in there, but this is, if I don't end up putting that as part of the neck, I'm gonna end up doing that as part of the hair. So basically, I just want to show you real quick because a bunch of people have asked me about this. I like to use a soft brush, and I have to find the one that I was just using. It's right here. Okay, so I pour this in. What I like to do in the beginning, this is kind of the beginning phase of it, so I just like to use different colored papers. I don't like to use the same paper in the same spot, so what I'll do is I'll go through and just use different colored papers. Now this is going to be her cheek area. I'm going to try to do a bunch of videos on this piece as I'm going through it so people can watch. But, you know, sometimes I like to paint and other times I really like to work with paper. I don't know, this piece spoke to me as wanting to be done in paper, which is why I'm doing it that way. But I have no idea how it's going to come out. I don't like the way this neck comes up too far like that. But you know what? I'm going to leave that because if I incorporate the hair there, I'm going to cover that up anyway. The thing with the decoupage and paper on canvas, you want to put layers in here. So don't worry about, I'm just basically putting some glue on there and then using different colored papers, and you can see I have, like, this is a darker value and that's a lighter value. So where I think the lighter values are going to be like right here in the arm, this part of the body, this part of the face. I'll probably end up doing little tones of paper in red. But the thing with oil paint is once this glue dries, I can go over it with acrylic and then oil if I want to. Typically I just go over it with oil at this point because I don't need the acrylic anymore. A lot of times with acrylic paint, I like to use acrylic paint as an underpainting, and I usually do quite an extensive underpainting, and I'll tell you why. For me, it makes it a heck of a lot easier down the road when I'm working in the oil, because I have the reference point of colors that I want to use. I've already chosen the colors I want in my underpainting a lot of times, and if you've seen any of my paintings, you would know. Now that's getting a little too, that piece is too big too. This is getting a little too saturated with that color, so I'm going to move that over here. Decoupage is kind of sticky and gooey. Some people don't like it. I happen to like the effect of what it does, and I like that kind of breakup that it does in the paper. I have this light piece here, and I'm definitely going to put some darker pieces in here because that's usually where there would be shading. So this one I'm getting a little too much of. All right, I'll pick a lighter one now. Here's a lighter piece of paper, and I'm just going to use that, cut some up. That's right in the same tone, which I don't want. All right, so I'm going to start over here. Now this part of the knee would probably be a little bit darker. So I'm going to cut the camera now and just keep working, and then I'm going to bring you back so you can see how I've been progressing. All right, so I'm sitting down, and if you were paying attention, I had put the background in, which first of all, I had to sit down because I can't stand that long because I got a bad back. But anyway, I didn't like the way that was looking, so I went back to the hand. I pulled those pieces off and put those here. I had these in the hands. Now, when I'm making these, I want to make sure that I leave a line there so I can reference that point. So I know where the end of the finger is. So again, with paper, I'm not that worried if everything looks like, you know, it's supposed to look in a painting, you know, like a realistic painting, which I think is one of the things I really like about working with paper, is that you're not caught up in that. You're not like, oh, the nose isn't perfect, or the hands aren't perfect, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of just a reference. So it does get a little tricky in here because I've got the end of the hand here. I'm going to have to kind of be very precise here, and then there's this gap here. I've got to decide that's probably going to be a straight edge there, something like that. So basically what you're seeing right now, I'm going to pull that back a little bit. What you're seeing, right, is the outline. You're seeing that here's the knee coming down, here's the arm's going to come down, here's the hand that's wrapped around her. It's reference to the hand. What I do, I'm covering all this. I'm just making sure that these bubbles are all taken care of. And you want to make sure that you got a little bit of glue left on the brush, and you can go back, make sure your bubbles are out. But basically I have my hands here. And now when I do these pieces, I did them before, but I didn't like the way that came out. So I'm going to cut very small pieces in here. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together, like a mosaic. I've done a lot of work in mosaic, and that's its own challenging form of expression. These are probably going to be darker pieces, so I'm going to use a couple dark pieces in here. And basically, oh, I forgot to say, that's a lighter piece, so I'll use that up here. These papers you can get on Etsy, you can get them on Amazon. I know some people are not using Amazon right now, but you can get these in craft stores. Or you can take apart old magazines, which I do quite a bit of, actually. Friends save me magazines, and especially the old magazines, the paper is much, much nicer than the paper they use today. It's much thicker for what I use it for.